And of course, another investment by Fabri-Kal, $10.7 million that created 20 new positions and retained 45 jobs. Again, that's us, that's our community. Now, we appreciate the investment of these companies, but we know recently jobs were created from a disaster that we would have preferred not occur. Now, for the second time in my tenure as mayor, we had to invoke our city's emergency response protocol. As you may know, in July, Enbridge Inc., located in Marshall, spilled approximately 1 million gallons of oil into the Kalamazoo River, threatening not only the shorelines, but our water supply within this region. But fortunate for us, we have leaders like Chief Jeff Hadley and Public Services Director Bruce Merchant, who took immediate action to alleviate the impact on the city by shutting down pumping stations on Morrow Lake and mobilizing personnel to aggressively monitor water quality. Now, to date, no appreciable amounts of oil have reached beyond Morrow Dam, and that's something to celebrate. But a partner on that journey with them was our county sheriff, Rick Fuller. He championed everything Kalamazoo during this disaster. He was on it from day one, pushing Enbridge, engaging the state, working with the EPA, coordinating resources, and communicating with all of our residents. Now, we know there's still recovery going on right now, but we must still take a moment and acknowledge Chief Hadley, Director Merchant, and Sheriff Fuller for literally protecting us all. Where are you, gentlemen? Would you please stand? Where's Bruce? Okay, so I know I've been talking about water, and protecting our drinking water is certainly important, but I want to illustrate the importance of our water in a different way. There's no question that we have benefited from the strong pharmaceutical presence that has been in Kalamazoo since 1875. But today, Pfizer's support of our wastewater system demands recognition. Now, in 2009, Pfizer invested $5 million to support modifications needed to accommodate discharges Pfizer produced. Now, this modification proved to be quite beneficial to our entire system, all of our water that's filtered here in the city, and for the greater Kalamazoo area. Now, Pfizer's support will continue to help us serve all of you in this region beyond today. So right now, I'd like to recognize Rick Chambers, who is the Worldwide Director of Communications for Pfizer, and thank them for their efforts for our city. Now, along with protecting our water supply, we pride ourselves in not only providing quality service, but going the extra mile. So let me tell you the story of two wonderful people. Since the fall of 2008, City Housing Inspector Dan DeCamp made concerted efforts to make contact with a Kalamazoo resident, Mr. Ted Mobley. Mr. Mobley was an owner of a badly deteriorating home in the Vine neighborhood. After establishing a relationship with this 88-year-old World War II veteran, Dan was able to help find resources to assist him. Now, in 2009, Dan began using his day off, and that's pretty important, his day off, to take Ted to the Veterans Administration Hospital in Battle Creek. He also was able to assist him in getting his VA benefits reestablished. During last summer's heat wave, anybody remember the heat wave last summer? My house has no air conditioning, so Mom, I'm going to see if I need you next time. Dan, during that summer, went to visit Ted and found him barely responsive. He called 911, and Ted was transported to Bronson. Now, since Ted had no immediate family in the area, other than an older brother who lived further away, Dan took it upon himself to become Ted's legal guardian to deal with the VA and other issues. He even worked with Ted to find a new place to live. Dan DeCamp truly went above and beyond the call of duty to protect the health and safety of one of our country's heroes. Let's thank Dan this evening. Dan, where are you? Now we can take note from Dan because we all share the responsibility of ensuring safety of our neighbors and our friends, our families and visitors to our city. Okay, so now, since this is an educational institution, I want to do a quick pop quiz. I want you to tell me what 243 is, what does the number 90,000 represent, and what is 16? And none of them are my age. Well, there are 243 women and men of public safety that responded to more than 90,000 requests for service last year. And they worked with our residents and to reduce crime overall by 16%. 16%. Working together. So let's talk about an example of how we work together in this community. On April 2nd, which happens to be my birthday, families, youth, pastors, educational leaders, and elected officials alongside our public safety officers gathered to say no more to this cruising train craziness. This craziness is contributing to violence on our streets, and we are not going to allow that. Now, taking a stand like this is vitally important. But I challenge us all to do more on our streets as individuals. Public safety continues to do more by deploying targeted resources, targeted patrols, and increasing intelligence gathering. But they cannot do it alone. So let's keep working as one to address this negative activity, and I believe there will be soon to be some more opportunities coming up, Commissioner Bell, if I'm not mistaken, to get involved and to help with this challenge we're having. Now, I have opportunity to talk to our good chief often, and we certainly have an outstanding public safety chief, but he's always trying new tactics, and we need that. Last summer, Chief Hadley retasked officers to curtail criminal activities in strategic areas. Now, as a result, officers increased foot patrols and utilized the Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Department Mounted Horse Division. Now, what they did, they made non-traditional resident contacts throughout the neighborhoods. Now, neighbors and the neighborhood complaints resulted in several arrests and citations, which ultimately worked to reduce crime. Now, interesting enough, we have seen these mounted officers at festivals, but it has not been typical of our city to see this type of horsepower coming down Portage Road. So this is another example of how we work together. Very unique example here in our community. Now, our Mounties aren't here, but our sheriff is here, and we want to thank him for his officers, his deputies on the street. Okay, Dr. Dunn, we're still educating people here, so next pop quiz question. How many of you have ever seen a broken window? I didn't say how many of you threw rocks through windows as children. Well, there is a neighborhood improvement theory called broken windows that assumes that if you let the little things accumulate, like broken windows, more onerous things can potentially take root. Now, our Broken Windows project last year included internal collaborations between the Public Safety Department, Public Services, and Community Planning and Development. These gentlemen, these individuals, all worked with neighborhood leaders to address the challenges. And as a result of that work, 34 streets were targeted. 54 junk autos were tagged. 82 code violations enforced. And we even wrote a few citations along the way. Pretty impressive. All right, since we're still talking about public safety, again, pop quiz. Has any of you ever had to dial 911?